What if one night you heard something scratching on your walls, whispering your name, but when you looked, no one was there? And what if that unseen presence slowly destroyed your family, spoke secrets no stranger could know, and finally killed someone in your own home? This is not fiction. This is the terrifying legend of the Bell Witch. The story begins in 1817 in a quiet farming community near Adams, Tennessee. John Bell was a respected farmer who lived with his wife Lucy and their children. Their life was peaceful, simple, and ordinary. But everything changed after John saw something strange in his cornfield. One evening, while walking through his land, John noticed a strange creature. It looked like a dog, but its head resembled a rabbit. When he tried to shoot it, the creature vanished into thin air. John felt uneasy, but he did not realize this moment had invited something dark into his home. Soon after, the family began hearing strange noises at night. At first, it was soft knocking on the walls, then scratching sounds under the bed, chains dragging across the floor. The children woke up screaming, saying their bedsheets were being pulled away by invisible hands. John's daughter, Betsy, suffered the most. She felt sharp slaps across her face and pinching on her skin, leaving marks that no one could explain. The family searched every corner of the house, but nothing was ever found. Weeks passed, and the disturbance grew stronger. The sounds became louder, more violent. Furniture moved on its own. Loud banging shook the doors. The peaceful farmhouse turned into a place of terror. Then something even more horrifying happened. The invisible force began to speak. At first, the voice was faint, like weak whispering in the dark. Slowly, it became clear. It could talk. It answered questions. It repeated prayers. It sang hymns. But sometimes its voice turned cruel and threatening. The entity claimed it was a spirit sent to punish John Bell. Word spread quickly, and neighbors came to witness the haunting. Many heard the voice themselves. Some claimed the spirit revealed secrets about their lives that no one else could know. The presence gave itself a name. It called itself Kate. The spirit mocked John, tormented Betsy, and created chaos daily. Yet strangely, it showed kindness to John's wife, Lucy, speaking gently to her. People traveled from distant places to witness the haunting. Even a future American president, Andrew Jackson, reportedly visited the Bell home. His men claimed their guns stopped working and invisible forces attacked them, forcing them to flee in terror. The house was no longer just haunted, it was controlled by something powerful and intelligent. But the true horror had not begun, because whatever lived inside that house was growing stronger each day, and soon it would make a promise that shocked everyone who heard it. A promise to kill. And the most terrifying part, it kept its word. So what exactly was this mysterious entity, and why did it choose the Bell family?
The spirit called Kate did not behave like a typical ghost. It showed intelligence, personality, and a disturbing sense of purpose. It could speak for hours, argue with visitors, and even predict future events. The Bell family quickly realized they were dealing with something far more dangerous than a restless spirit. Every night, the attacks continued. The voice screamed loudly through the house, making sleep impossible. The children cried in fear, and John Bell grew weaker with each passing day. The entity seemed to feed on their terror. Betsy Bell suffered the worst torment. Invisible hands pulled her hair, slapped her face, and pushed her violently. She was often heard begging the spirit to stop, but it only laughed and continued its cruelty. The spirit openly declared its mission. It claimed it had come to punish John Bell for a past wrongdoing. However, it never clearly explained what that crime was. This mystery only increased the fear surrounding the haunting. Neighbors gathered outside the house at night, listening to the strange sounds. Many claimed they heard the voice singing religious songs one moment and speaking curses the next. Some believed it was a demon, others thought it was a witch's revenge. The entity demonstrated impossible knowledge. It repeated conversations happening miles away. It revealed hidden secrets about visitors. It quoted entire sermons after hearing them only once. No one could explain how such a force existed. Soon the haunting became widely known across the region. Religious leaders visited the Bell home, attempting prayers and rituals to remove the spirit, but nothing worked. The entity mocked them openly and refused to leave. The most famous visitor was Andrew Jackson. Curious about the supernatural events, he traveled with his men to witness the haunting himself. According to legend, strange forces stopped his wagon before reaching the house. His strongest men tried to move it, but it would not budge. Then a voice echoed from the darkness, saying the general could proceed. Suddenly, the wagon moved easily. That night, Jackson's men claimed invisible beings pulled their blankets and struck them violently. Terrified, they begged to leave immediately. Jackson himself reportedly admitted he would rather face an army than confront the Bell Witch again. Meanwhile, John Bell's health began to decline rapidly. He suffered strange symptoms, including trembling, weakness, and difficulty speaking. The spirit often mocked his condition, announcing that his death was near. The family lived in constant fear, unsure whether each day would be their last. The entity controlled their home, their peace, and their lives. Then, one morning, John Bell could not wake up. Beside his bed was a small, mysterious bottle filled with a dark liquid. No one knew where it came from. The spirit proudly took responsibility, saying it had given John the poison. The family tested the liquid on a cat. The animal died instantly. Soon after, John Bell himself passed away. The spirit celebrated loudly, singing and laughing throughout the house. But even after achieving its deadly goal, the entity refused to leave. Instead, it made a chilling promise. It said it would return again. And years later, something terrifying proved that promise was real. But was this truly a spirit or something far darker? After John Bell's death, the terrifying presence remained inside the farmhouse. Instead of disappearing, the spirit became calmer, as if satisfied with what it had done. But its silence created an even deeper fear among the family. The entity continued speaking regularly, but its tone changed. It no longer attacked with the same violence. Instead, it engaged in long conversations, discussing religion, philosophy, and human nature. Many witnesses claimed the spirit showed intelligence beyond human understanding. The Bell family lived under constant psychological pressure. Even when the house was quiet, they feared the next attack. The feeling of being watched never disappeared. Betsy Bell remained the spirit's primary target. She was engaged to a young man named Joshua Gardner. However, the entity strongly opposed their relationship. It constantly insulted Joshua, threatened him, and created disturbances whenever he visited. Strange noises interrupted their meetings. The spirit screamed warnings and promised terrible consequences if Betsy married him. Eventually, exhausted by fear, Betsy ended the engagement. The entity seemed pleased with this outcome. Over time, the spirit revealed more about its identity. It claimed to be the disturbed spirit of a woman named Kate Batts, a neighbor who once had conflicts with John Bell. Some believed she had cursed him before her death. Whether true or not, the story spread quickly. The haunting attracted scholars, priests, and curious travelers. Many stayed in the Bell home, hoping to study the phenomenon. Some reported being physically attacked. Others heard the voice answering their thoughts before they spoke. The entity demonstrated the ability to appear in multiple places at once. It claimed it could travel freely and observe events far away. People reported hearing the same voice miles from the Bell property. Years passed and the haunting slowly decreased. The violent attacks stopped completely. The voice spoke less frequently, and long periods of silence returned to the farmhouse. Then, in 1821, the entity made a surprising announcement. It declared it would leave the Bell family. Before departing, it promised to return after 7 years. The family listened in horror as the voice faded away, leaving the house in complete silence for the first time in years. Life slowly returned to normal. The family tried to forget the nightmare they had survived, yet the memory of the spirit never left their minds. Exactly 7 years later, the entity reportedly returned briefly to speak with John Bell Jr., discussing future events and making strange predictions about the world. After this final visit, the spirit disappeared completely. But the mystery did not end. Even today, visitors claim the Bell Witch still haunts the area. Strange sounds, shadows, and unexplained voices continue to be reported near the original property. Some believe the entity never truly left. Others think it was never a ghost at all. Was it a demon, a curse, or something beyond human understanding? And if the Bell Witch could return once before, could it return again?
For nearly 2 centuries, the Bell Witch story has remained one of the most terrifying paranormal cases ever recorded. Unlike ordinary ghost stories, this haunting involved physical attacks, intelligent communication, and a death officially blamed on an unseen force. Historians and researchers have tried to explain the events logically. Some suggest the Bell children created the disturbances as a prank that spiraled out of control. However, this theory fails to explain the violent physical injuries witnessed by many visitors. Others believe the events were caused by mass hysteria. Fear can spread quickly, especially in isolated communities. But hundreds of witnesses claimed to experience the same supernatural phenomena independently. The most disturbing evidence remains John Bell's mysterious death. The unexplained poison found beside his bed has never been scientifically explained. No human suspect was ever identified. Skeptics argue the family invented the story for attention or financial gain. Yet the Bell family never attempted to profit from the haunting and often seemed deeply ashamed of their situation. Paranormal investigators offered darker explanations. Some believe the entity was a demonic presence feeding on fear and suffering. Others suggest it was a poltergeist created by intense emotional energy within the household. The case remains unique because of the spirit's intelligence. Unlike typical hauntings involving random disturbances, this entity communicated clearly, expressed emotions, and demonstrated personal motives. The Bell Witch also showed selective behavior.
It targeted specific individuals while protecting others. It displayed cruelty toward John and Betsy, but treated Lucy Bell with kindness. This selective nature suggests intention rather than random supernatural activity. Modern visitors to Adams, Tennessee still report strange experiences. Many claim to hear whispers in the woods near the Bell property. Others describe feeling sudden cold chills or sensing an invisible presence. The Bell Witch Cave, located near the original site, has become a place of fascination. Visitors often report hearing unexplained echoes and footsteps deep inside. Some investigators believe the entity remains attached to the land itself rather than the family. Over the years, the legend has inspired books, films, and documentaries, yet no explanation has fully solved the mystery. Each generation continues to debate what truly happened inside the Bell farmhouse. Was it psychological manipulation, supernatural revenge, or something science has yet to understand? Perhaps the most disturbing aspect is the entity's promise to return. If the spirit kept its word once, there is no reason to believe it cannot return again. The Bell Witch case forces us to confront an uncomfortable possibility. What if some forces exist beyond our understanding, watching silently, waiting patiently? What if the Bell family was not chosen randomly, but for a specific reason? And if such a presence exists, how many other families might have experienced similar terror without history ever recording their suffering? The Bell Witch case remains one of the darkest mysteries in American folklore. But the most terrifying question still remains unanswered. What truly lived inside that house? Many people who study paranormal history consider the Bell Witch haunting different from every other recorded case. It was not just a ghost sighting or strange noise. It was a prolonged attack that showed planning, intelligence, and emotional behavior. One of the most frightening aspects was how the entity manipulated fear. It created silence for long periods, allowing tension to grow. Then suddenly it struck violently, ensuring the family never felt safe. Psychologists studying the case suggest the haunting deeply damaged the family's mental health. Living in constant terror for years could cause trauma, hallucinations, and emotional breakdown. Yet this explanation still cannot fully explain the physical evidence reported by witnesses. The entity also demonstrated unusual control over the environment. It moved objects, produced voices from empty spaces, and created physical injuries without visible contact. These abilities suggest a force beyond known scientific understanding. Some researchers believe the Bell Witch represents an unknown natural phenomenon, possibly related to energy fields or unexplored psychological powers. Others believe it was a spiritual entity with its own consciousness. Religious interpretations describe the haunting as a battle between good and evil. The spirit's interest in prayers, religious songs, and moral discussions suggests awareness of spiritual concepts. Even today, reports continue from people visiting the Bell Witch site. Many describe hearing footsteps behind them when no one is present. Others report sudden feelings of fear or the sensation of being touched by invisible hands. Electronic devices often malfunction in the area, according to some investigators. Strange recordings capturing unexplained sounds have been reported. Despite modern technology, no one has captured clear proof of the entity's existence. Yet the legend continues to grow stronger with each generation. Some locals believe the spirit protects the land from intruders. Others claim it still seeks revenge for past wrongs. The Bell Witch story raises important questions about reality itself. How much of our world remains unseen? Are there forces existing beyond human perception? Perhaps the most disturbing idea is that the entity showed clear awareness of human emotions. It knew how to create fear, pain, and psychological suffering deliberately. This suggests intention, and intention suggests consciousness. If the Bell Witch was conscious, then it was not simply a random force of nature. It was something that chose its victims. This idea makes the story far more terrifying than any simple ghost tale. Because if one intelligent entity exists beyond our world, others may exist as well. The Bell family's experience may have been only one example of a much larger mystery. Their story continues to disturb researchers, believers, and skeptics alike. But after 200 years, one truth remains. No explanation has ever fully solved the Bell Witch mystery. And the unanswered questions may be more frightening than the haunting itself. If you heard those footsteps in your own home tonight, what would you do?
The Bell Witch haunting remains one of history's most chilling mysteries because it challenges everything we believe about reality. It was not just a story of fear. It was a story of control, suffering, and an invisible intelligence that changed a family's life forever. From the first strange creature in the field to the violent attacks inside the house, the events followed clear and terrifying progression. The presence entered quietly, grew stronger over time, and eventually achieved its deadly goal. This pattern suggests careful planning rather than random supernatural activity. The spirit observed the family, learned their fears, and used them effectively. It attacked the weakest members first, created division within the household, and slowly destroyed their sense of safety. Its behavior resembled a calculated predator rather than a wandering ghost. Some experts believe the Bell Witch represents a rare type of haunting involving direct interaction between the physical and spiritual worlds. Others believe it was an unknown psychological phenomenon that science still cannot explain. Regardless of the explanation, the impact on the Bell family was undeniably real. Their suffering, fear, and loss were witnessed by hundreds of people. Even today, the story continues to influence popular culture and paranormal research. It serves as a warning that not all mysteries can be easily explained or dismissed. The idea that an unseen force could speak, think, and kill remains deeply unsettling. The Bell Witch also forces us to question the limits of human knowledge. Despite technological progress, many aspects of reality remain unexplored. There may be forces operating beyond our senses. Perhaps the Bell family simply encountered something humanity was never meant to understand. The most disturbing element of the story is the spirit's promise to return, a promise it once fulfilled. If such an entity exists, time may not limit its power. It may still exist somewhere, waiting silently, watching, listening. The Bell Witch legend survives because it touches our deepest fears, the fear of losing control, the fear of the unknown, and the fear of something watching from the darkness. Whether you believe the story or not, its impact cannot be denied. It continues to inspire fear, curiosity, and endless debate. But now the question is yours to answer.
Do you believe the Bell Witch was real? Or was it something even more terrifying? Proof that forces beyond our understanding can enter our world whenever they choose. If this story gave you chills, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel Lost Beyond Sight for more strange, dark, and mysterious stories. Because some mysteries are never meant to be solved, and some stories never truly end. So tell me, if you lived in that house, would you stay?